Instagram account and claimed that you were quote openly promote anti-Semitic writings?
It's honestly heartbreaking. Yes, once I was announced on social media through USC student media, it only took a few hours before such posts began circulating.
Notice the word anti-Semitic.
It launched a very generalized and honestly very hateful and disappointing campaign to remove me as valedictorian. Yes.
I want to go to
and get away with the murder.
The issue that wasn't raised by the provost, but in your Instagram bio, you link to a pro-Palestine landing page that reads in part, learn about what's happening in Palestine and how to help. Some students took to social media to express their opposition to it due to the language on the landing page. The website states, quote, Zionism is a racist settler colonial ideology
that
advocates for a Jewish ethno-state built on Palestinian land.
That's
right. The website also states, quote, one Palestinian state would mean Palestinian liberation and the complete abolishment of the state of Israel.
That's right.
Quote.
And it should be abolished.
Talk about that.
It's not
and
a state.
Talk about when you link to that page and your feelings about
this. Period.
Sure. So there are a few points that I'd like to clarify. The first is that a university students have the responsibility to engage in productive and meaningful discussion. And we're allowed to learn from one another's ideas and express those ideas so that we can all grow. And I think that that's the beauty of an academic institution. But another factor that I'd like to bring up is that there are other pieces of information in that link. You know, there are paragraphs and information relating to the two-state solution as well as the one state. The sentence right after the one you just quoted talks about coexistence between Arabs and Jews. You know, there's a lot of factors here, and my goal in putting the link in my bio is simply to inform my fellow peers in the small ways that I can. But ultimately, what I want people to take away is for people to inform themselves, come to their own conclusions, and then advocate for what they believe in. And so, in no way am I advocating for hate. I'm only advocating for human equality and for the sanctity of human life I say that Palestinians, as well as Jews, as well as Muslims and Armenians, and anyone else who is invested in this conflict has the equal right to life and the equal privilege of the fullest extent to life.
And you shouldn't have to explain that.
Tell us more about yourself. You're majoring in biomedical engineering and minoring in resistance to genocide.
I've been warned.
What inspired you to follow
about the Zionists when I was a younger man? I'm 60 now.
This is my favorite question, especially because, you know, as you might know, I've been doing a lot of interviews recently, and I wish people more talked about my biomedical engineering major as well, because I think it's an important part of who I am and my worldview. That being said, the way that I see my major and my minor working together for the very same goal is that, you know, my minor in resistance to genocide allows me to study the human condition at possibly one of its worst conditions.
That's right.
And then biomedical engineering is my way of learning technically how we can improve the human condition through increasing health accessibility. And so the ways that I specifically see this are, for example, when I learn about the Rwandan genocide or the Holocaust or various other forms of genocides and conflicts through my minor, I look at the ways in which healthcare and health are impeded and the ways in which the quality of life are impeded so that I can build devices and health technologies using my major and using the education and the information I learned in my major of biomedical engineering to see how we can develop low-cost and accessible point-of-care devices so that we can improve the ways in which people experience healthcare when they are at their most in need of healthcare.
Can you talk about if you were giving the speech? I mean, this speech would be given in May, right, at graduation. So isn't there still a possibility that USC could change their mind? What would your speech be? What would you say to the USC community?
So, I
What's
actually
the
have not
connection?
considered and actually
the
started writing my
connection?
speech, but of course, this experience is informing me how I want to go about it. But ultimately, my message is one of hope. I think something that I truly believe in, given my familial background and the way I was raised, is that education is
who's
such a
funding
privilege,
who?
and using the ways
Involving
that we
their
have
money
learned how to
that they
learn,
have so much
it's
say
incumbent upon
that they
us
can
to look at the
blackball
world
students
and see what we
in
see,
America on
and then
college
take
campus.
information and make conclusions so that we can change
Our
the
own
world in
government.
the ways that we want to.
Our own
And
government.
so, in accordance with my
People
message of hope, I also want
who
to
you
do
elect
a message of
has
inspiration
been
so
backing
that
and
our
allowing this
graduates and my peers
years.
can feel empowered to take on issues of world concern and see themselves in positions of making change.
That's right.
You've talked about an online hate campaign against you. Can you describe more what you have received?
Listen.
Sure. I've received incredibly disappointing comments, and I think it's an unfortunate part of expressing who you are and expressing what you believe in. But I do want to call attention to the overwhelming support, and I think that anybody who is watching this unfold is seeing that various communities, from Muslim communities to Jewish communities to South Asian and first-generation American communities, all coming together to see this as something bigger and as something representative of a collective voice. And so, while there is hatred out there, I do want to give my kudos to the
Asian,
people who have
African,
been seeing the inspiration and seeing the hope
just a
as this
certain
unfolds.
group.
University of Southern California valedictorian Asna Tabassum. She joined us Wednesday on Democracy Now! After USC canceled her commencement speech for what it claims are safety reasons after Asna became the subject of an online
No,
hate campaign.
they canceled her speech
Coming up,
because of
Columbia
they're
University president is
anti-Semitics.
grilled at a congressional
why.
hearing about anti-Semitism on campus. And what critics are calling the
comes from those who
silencing
are
of pro-Palestinian
causing
voices.
destruction.
We'll be joined by two Barnard
Anti-Semitism
Columbia
comes from those
professors.
who are
One of them
causing
signed
the
an open letter
destruction
from Jewish
in order to
professors calling the
reverse
hearings a new McCarthyism. We'll also hear from
reverse
students who camped
psychology
out on
put the
Columbia's
blame
lawn. Stay with us.
on the righteous.
My name's Joe McCarthy.
You know what I'm saying?